you guys, if that was present day, I think all of you guys would have been making 500,000. What kind of part? Welcome into another episode of Cigars with Legends and Letterman, sponsored by Sky Devil Wines and Your Cigar Den. Today's guest, Keith Goon Conlin.
What's up, brother?
Goon?
How are you?
Thanks for coming in, brother. I appreciate it.
You got cigar, you got wine. Goon will travel.
I figured I was sitting there and I was like, we needed a guest, and I'm like, how have I not texted Goon yet? So I was like, this is literally right up his alley. So here we are. For those that don't know, Goon's tailgates. You go, it's in the Letterman lot. And it's like basically as if like The Godfather just had like a tail, like Tony Soprano was holding a tailgate, and you just go up and Goon's just sitting there cooking up. He's got the dogs and like the kennel next to him. You can bring your dogs.
Just straight playpen.
Just a playpen, just a playpen. And then my favorite is the not Italian sausage. What is it? Is it
Greek sausage?
Greek sausage. Greek sausage.
I get it from outside of my wife's hometown in Kane, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, your tailgates, I'll tell you, there was a block party after. That was the Illinois game?
Yeah, Illinois was insane.
Goon literally took over the entire Letterman's block. Goon, I think our favorite topic is probably old school, new school. That's kind of how we even got together. We started comparing how awful, basically. I'm not going to say awful, but the life that you guys lived as football players in the early 90s of Penn State to the life
I mean, not the early
now.
90s. I mean, you go 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. I mean, it's right up through 2015, man.
You got, well, I think it got progressively a little bit better. I mean, back in your day, I mean,
I wouldn't complain about we were what everybody else was getting.
Well,
we didn't get the handouts, and like, I know when I came back to coach in 2005, the training table had really stepped up, and that was a complaint of a lot of guys that it was like, it just got a little old.
Yeah.
It just got stale and stagnant and stuff. They had to change stuff up, and they did a little bit. And when I came back to coach in 2005, when I came back to school, they really had done that. They had a couple of like cooking expos a week and stuff like that.
That's impressive that it took a step up, because when I got here,
we talk about this. This is what always drove me crazy. What always drove me crazy is we were only allowed to eat in one place, Pollock Commons.
Right.
We were not allowed in the hub, and if we had to come out of our own pocket if we wanted to go to the hub, and you're like, you're sitting there. You're chasing girls and this and that. After class, you want to get a soda, you want to get a burger, and you're like, oh, I don't have any money. I mean, none of us ever had any money.
No.
You're $44 a month, man.
That's what I was going to ask. So first off, who do you think would have made the most money? Let's say on the 94 team, if you had to pick. Who do you think would have reigned in the most dollars?
Casey and Kijana.
Yeah.
And Bobby and Kyle. They're the four All-Americans. Jeff Hardings. But you know as well as I do, the old linemen aren't getting money.
No.
We might get
What would you have done? I mean, now, I mean, if you that type of offensive line, if you guys, if that was present day, I think all of you guys would have been making 500,000. What kind of part? Wait, what type of, let's just even go down.
Oh, I do want to say this. Before this even gets talked about, I do have a fear for the future. Mm-hmm. And that is that we are paying 17 to 22-year-old kids this kind of money, and then there's not more kids making the NFL. The percentages are actually they're the exact same. Imagine that, of going to the NFL. Yeah. So are we screwing with these kids a little bit and giving these kids a false sense of like, oh my God, life is pretty damn easy. Here I am making $500,000 when I'm 19 years old, and then now you're 24 years old and you hurt your neck and you hurt your head and you're out of football and now you got to earn a living and you're like, whoa, where's my free check?
Yeah, well, that's what I think.
We're not doing these kids favors.
No, I'm with you. Yeah, I think you're right, and like you said, you're gonna make 500,000, and the next thing you know, you come out and you go, what? Wait, what? I gotta work a job that makes $55,000 a year. It's like, where's my 500 grand? Yep. No, that's not how that works.
I gotta go there every day. It's the only thing that does scare me. I'm happy. You've heard me say it over and over.
No, it's good.
I'm ecstatic for the guys to get this kind of money, because I was thinking the other day, like, Carrie my wife was talking, and we were talking about how, like, everybody on campus, all the student athletes on campus, and we were talking about how, when we get to this $22 million profit sharing thing window, 75% football, 15% to basketball, 10% or whatever, how they're doing other sports and this and that. And I'm just like sitting there, and I was like, okay, it was always expected of us to fund all the other programs. Mm-hmm. And you know what we never got? Like, hey, dude, thanks. It was like, that we didn't get like a thank you. No. Like it was expected, like, hey, this is the way that it is. And it's just like, I'm looking back on it and I'm like, here I am, we're sponsoring every 31 collegiate
I would
sports.
say the main sponsor should be Penn State football and every.
Everybody's getting scholarships on our backs because we're paying for all of them and this and that. And there was never any like appreciation for the football program. I mean, we're not sitting there asking for. I mean, again, it was illegal to get handouts, so we weren't going to get handouts. But maybe like a little something different than everybody else is getting. We're rocking the same sweatsuits as the track and field and cross country and swimming teams. Yeah. You know, they have the same backpacks, they have the same sweatsuits, they have the same shoes. Nothing really set us apart, other than when we went to bowl games and we would get a bowl sweatsuit or a bowl shirt. That was the only thing. But we never got like a thank you. Like, hey, we appreciate all you do for us, because it was all like, well, you're getting a scholarship. And that's, okay, I got my education paid for and all that stuff, so I get it. I never paid a penny for education. I have a master's. So
there you go. You
got
something
that going for me. Yeah, I got something out of it, yeah.
Well, you know what else you got? You got Coca-Cola breaks. Do you think the other teams got Coca-Cola breaks?
Sure they did.
Mid-practice?
Sure they did.
Was that really just a thing?
It was not. It was Joe, man. It was old school.
I can't believe that. So
remember the old 7-ounce pop bottles?
Oh, yeah.
Like I'm not saying pop soda. I mean, they had like they weren't twists. And they had a whole wooden rack of them, 30, and the manager pop them down.
So like halfway through practice,
Joe, but get a Coke, go get a Coke. And everybody went over there, they would shake them, and they would get all the little foam out of it, and they'd run them, they'd drink them down and stuff like that. And it was always like, can I get 3 down, can I get 4? And it was just like...
Everybody just on a sugar high.
10 minutes later, you're in practice, like, oh, God, oh.
Was this Pepsi campus then?
Well, this was when I first started. We were the Coca-Cola Nittany Lions, and then we became the Pepsi State Nike Lions.
Yeah, wait, hold on. Why did we? Because I think everybody can agree. I'm sorry, Penn State, but I mean Coca-Cola is far superior than Pepsi. Do you know why we changed over? Just more, I guess, more money. Everybody's saying money.
We're talking about money, so yeah.
That's a good point. All right.
We didn't get any of that money either.
No.
But the school was always definitely a Pepsi school and stuff like that. But we first started off as we were Coke. I think Joe liked the Coke a little bit better. But then when Coke came in, Joe, we had to have 7-ounce bottles. That was our tradition. It was so dumb.
Oh, man.
And then in the locker room, you guys, I think it was like, they had some kind of, Pepsi had some kind of Gatorade knockoff, but it was carbonated. It was horrible.
That sounds awful.
It was so bad. And that's what we had pumping through the locker room. You'd be like sitting there like, carbonation and stuff like that. And then another huge difference is the nutrition aspect of everything that goes into. You guys are so freaking far ahead.
Did you even have a nutritionist?
We had a nutritionist.
You did? Okay.
Yep.
All right.
We had a couple years
Barely.
in, so it wasn't like from my first day in there or anything like that. But even in high school, you had a weightlifting program, right? You knew how to put weight on. We in high school, we would just, one of the coaches would open it up, and then for 3 hours, and you'd have to get a workout in. And it was nothing like, there was no outdoor workouts. It was just you're in there lifting weights and stuff like that. So that really wasn't known. So you got to Penn State, and they had a very, very good, great regimented program. Started off with Chet Furman, and then by my second year was John Thomas. And JT, and he brought a monster, badass toughness to our team. That was second to none. Was there some fear in the hearts of people when you messed up? You had to go see JT. Was that Oh, absolutely. Right. He was Joe's henchman. I mean, I go back to this, and we talked about this. We weren't allowed to talk to. We weren't ever around our coaches. In season was the only time we were around our coaches in spring ball. You guys have winter workouts. We had those. What are they? 2 times a week, 6 weeks. So you figure 12 times. Yeah. And then you have summer workouts. They were not allowed to even anywhere as close to you. We were not allowed to meet. They weren't allowed to watch us run, work out, nothing. Yeah, that's so different. Because now you guys have meetings. Oh, the coaches are now winter workouts. What we have. They ran them. They did. So that was 12 times. Okay. So you figure twice a week, 6 weeks. So that was 12 times that they could see us. Well, they might have ran them, but we were doing. Now you do before the winter workouts start. You're doing some offense get together, and you're running some plays. Before the workout. And then afterwards, you're like, all right, shower up, meet in the film room. Yeah. And it's February, and it's like the film room. So here I'm going to say this. A lot of us will say this, and that was there would have been a revolt. It would be like, just leave us the hell alone. You talk about us wanting to be athletes, and you want us to be students and this and that. Let us be students. Where they're trying to, you guys spent a lot of time in that building, and rightfully so. I mean, it's a different ball game, and someone else is going to be doing it, so you better keep up with the Joneses type of thing.
Yeah, I was talking to Doc about it the other day, and I was like, how are winter workouts treating you? And he's like, man, it's a job now. And I'm like, that's got to be such a different mindset of like, instead of just going in, I got to go in to do this. It's like, oh no, I'm going to work today. Like that's really what it is. I'm going to make my, these guys are whatever. I don't even need to hurt our ears anymore. Me too. We're talking. I didn't make that much either. I was pretty much on the cusp end of it, and now I'm hearing guys are signing for millions of dollars. But that's what Doc. He was like, hey, it's your job. You're going there to put the time in, get your check at the end of the week, and it's like, well, you start thinking of it like that, it's a little bit different. But that's what I thought was so interesting when you said after spring ball ended, you're like, yeah, we didn't see the coaches till fall camp.
We had a couple weeks off and this and that, and then would go and get like 2 or 3 lifts in a week for 2 weeks. Joe's thing after the season in the fall was, when the season ended, you got 2 weeks off, and that was before the bowl game. You get 2 weeks off. We'll practice on Saturday afternoons. Usually with the underclassmen will be playing because they want our guys to rest, the starters. But for those 2 weeks, Joe didn't want to see you. He wanted you in the classroom and worried about your finals. Now you got playoff games, bowl games, and stuff like that. So it's the whole world is different, man.
Finals now? I guess that's the real question. How do you even get finals done?
Well, there were guys, think about this, who traveled and played in, 4 bowl games before they were even students at Penn State?
Yep. Imagine
they were at 4 bowl games.
Right when you come in, you get to go experience bowl games.
4 bowl games before they even attended a class.
Well, you're talking about bowl games, this is what I thought was the most interesting when I was talking to a couple older guys, and they're like, yeah, you guys used to go down 2 weeks before the bowl game. Joe would take you to a different site than the bowl game to start.
It was horrible.
You guys basically had fall camp, and fall camp is like, it's a treacherous time. You guys basically did a week-long bowl week.
We call it.
That's sad because bowl week is so exciting for us now.
It used to be, it had its benefits. Again, he gave us those 2 weeks off.
All right.
And we enjoyed those 2 weeks. We were regular students. How you doing? Yeah.
How you doing?
Definitely enjoyed those 2 weeks because we were regular students. You could go downtown at night and stuff like that, not have to worry about getting up and going out and working out. But you were worried about school. You practiced on the weekends, but it was mostly for I would call them the JV type of guys, where they're trying to get them a little bit of practice love. And then, I think that you guys have extra practices for those guys now, right?
We do.
Yeah.
A little D-squad practice.
We would have a week off, get a couple workouts in, a couple runs in, and then Saturday there'd be a practice. But that was just worried about school. But my first year here, we had bowl practice at State College, and that was 4 days. And I'm telling you, dude, they beat the tar out of us. And then they go home for 3 or 4 days, and then you go to the bowl game. So in '92, I think the rules changed a little bit, where, again, the old man was stingy and this and that, but if he could get us money legally, he did it. So they changed the rules where you could actually travel down from your hometown. So, okay, to put this into perspective, I had to go to the Rose Bowl in 1994. My little brother was 2 years younger than me, so we each got a check for $1,300. First class ticket from Philadelphia to LA, right? If you can find something cheaper, you can keep the difference. So we didn't travel as a team. You traveled on your own out there. So when you got out there, we went to Huntington Beach for the first 6 days. And I'm telling you, it was December 19th, 18th, 19th. Beat the crap out of us. Doubled 2 practices a day in Huntington Beach, California. It was just like camp for 4 days. You had 8 practices, and they beat the tar. The guys are losing jerseys. You went from starter to second team if you were messing up. I'm telling you, it was hardcore. It was preseason camp. So then, with that goal was so we could enjoy the bowl week. So you go out there. We did the Citrus Bowl. I think you did the Citrus Bowl. So you get to Disney, you get all these different, Epcot Center, all of that stuff,
Park.
and so we could actually enjoy them a little because we had already done all the hard work.
Right.
And then we got off Christmas night, the 24th and 25th. He gave us off. That son of a bitch was smart. He knew no bars and restaurants were open on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. So we could not get in no freaking trouble in L.A. or Orlando or Tampa. We found it though. Don't worry.
Yeah.
No, we enjoyed ourselves.
Yeah, you went out to the Beef Bowl at Lowry's.
Oh, shut up.
I do it every time.
You do it.
I do it every time. Goon,
You kill me, man.
I do. I'm sorry. It's a tradition.
Man, he stole my glory.
He did. Out at the Rose Bowl, each team gets to go to Lowry Steakhouse. And, you know, they have this just classic meal that everybody knows them for. They've been serving it for 100 years. And it's a
prime rib,
corn, cream corn,
mashed potatoes,
yeah,
covered in the au jus. So we got up there, and all week, all they're talking about, all these people out there, because the Rose Bowl sucked.
Oh, it's bad. People think it's so
good.
good. It was
the Rose Bowl did suck. It was our worst bowl because it was so spread out. And you get out there, I tell the story a lot, that people are like, what's Penn State doing here? Dude, we're playing in the Rose. Oh, you guys are here for the parade? And like, no. We're playing in the freaking game, dude.
Everybody loves the parade out there.
It's like, that's all they talk about is a effing parade. So all week we're going through dining hall and, you know, in the hotel, bars, restaurants, and all the guys that are the bowl reps. They're like, oh man, wait till you get to the Lowry's Beef Bowl. All you can eat, all you can eat. And I'm just like sitting there. And I was like, dude, you've heard me say before. I was put on earth to do three things: play football, drink beer, and eat steak. Right? And dude, I was prepping. Marco Rivera, my old roommate, his father was a butcher from up in Long Island and Brooklyn. So the man knew his steak cuts.
Right.
And we were just sitting there salivating like, oh, Lowry's. You know, here we are eating, you know, hotel food for a week and stuff like that. And then we finally got to the Lowry's Beef Bowl. And that is, we played Oregon. So we were there, let's say, one Monday night, and then Oregon came in Tuesday night. And then they added up the amount of steaks eaten pound-wise, and that's who wins the Beef Bowl. So the old man, God rest his soul, he did not like heavy guys. If he ever saw 300 pounds, I mean, you've heard me tell, I mean, I was 315, 320, and I ran a 4.9, 840, and I had to lose 15 pounds. Because he said I was too heavy, and I'm like, I just ran the fastest of all the offensive linemen. I don't understand, you know, and yeah, you're too heavy. So go to the Beef Bowl. I'm telling you, man, we were just jacked. We were jacked. First in line, this and that. Going through the line, I'm like, hey, man, give me a big cut of that. Give me a big cut. And the guy's like, hey, man, we're all the same cut. Come back as many times as you want. I'm like, all right. So I get down. I hammer down this first piece of prem, the first plate.
25
seconds. The line wasn't even done yet. And me and Marco were already done. So we stood up to go get back in line. And we heard it. No. Sit in, you guys are too heavy. No, one piece each. We're like, what? What? And he's like, one piece. You're all too heavy. We're too fat. And we're all just sitting there like, you son of a bitch. God damn it. We were dying. And I'm like sitting next to Stephen Michael Pitts, one of my running backs, and Tony Pittman. These guys couldn't finish their prime rib. And I'm like eating their fat. I'm like, this is bullshit, man. I was so goddamn mad.
Can I get a sliver?
Yeah, I'm just like, hey, dude, can I get a piece of that? Can I get some mashed potatoes? You gonna eat all that stuff? So, yeah, he stole
stole all the glory.
There was a lot of the glory was I was built for it. I could not believe it, and I was so mad. Me and Mark,
it was good too. Oh, it was good.
How many plates you have, Landon?
You know, Goon, actually, I had about 2.5. The third one I didn't really finish, but I got to have as much as I'd like. And it was a lot of free will that night. I actually have a couple footballs because we won. I don't know, did you guys win or did you guys lose?
No, we didn't win.
I guess you lost. Clearly, Oregon was able to.
We had 105 pieces of meat eaten. That's it.
That's true. They looked at the score and they're like, these guys didn't even try.
I thought these guys are corn-fed Pennsylvania boys. What the hell, man? These guys are beef boys. We're over there. I'm over there crying in the corner.
Well, so you have your whole offensive line class, like you said. Bucky was the only one that wasn't in your class, right?
Yeah, Bucky, but he was the leader.
He was okay, yeah, at the center.
He was a 55-year-old man at 19 years old. So
I can see that now that I've met him for sure.
He's absolutely the greatest. He's still as sharp as a tack, funny as shit, just a smart ass, and just. But he knew it. His sense of humor was so dry and witty, and it was just crazy. But the old man knew how to get to us, and that was to go through Bucky. So you've been on enough football teams in your career to realize, first 2 weeks of camp, the defense just kicks the living shit out of the offense.
Every time.
Every time. So we're in spring practice, spring of '94, just devouring our defense. Go into preseason camp, and we're devouring our defense. And then the old man is like, and you're sitting there. And then my other 4 or 5 years at Penn State, he always used to have to take care of the defense. No, that was a hold. Defensive pass interference. First down offense. And he would try to make it competitive because the defense was always so far ahead of the offense. In '94, dude, he was calling out, "That was a hold. It was a hold." And we're like, "What are you talking about?" He's like making these calls, and Bucky's like, "Shut up, stop crying, dude. We got this. We're killing these guys. He's got to make it up for them." We're all sitting there like, "God damn, you're right, dude. You're totally right on this one." I was like, "Wow, okay." Then I was like, "Oh."
Had a little old wisdom
Had a
in the group.
little swagger to us after that, and the old man used to get on us and this and that. Bucky would be like, "Just relax, calm down. It's all good."
So you got to have that guy in every position group that kind of just settles the nerves of everybody, the veteran.
I want to introduce you guys to the newest sponsor behind the wall, Sky Devil Wines. It is owned by a 4th-generation Penn Stater, and we are going to make this thing the wine of Penn State. I'm 22 years old. I'm new into wine, cigars, even coffee. I just started, got into the real world, and very quickly realized, but especially I need that wine at the end of the night to really calm me down. So make sure you check out SkyDevilWines.com, and you can find them on social media all around at Sky Devil Wines. Appreciate you guys. Link in the description below. Go check them out right now.
Did you guys have a spot in State College, like an offensive line, like eating spot that you? Well, I guess you didn't have any
No, we
money.
couldn't go out.
Established. Let's say you had no money. Actually.
The only eating place that we did have was the State College VFW.
What is that?
They used to add up. It used to be next to the yeah, exactly. VFW is the Veterans of Foreign War. It was
Never. Listen, I was born.
It's right next to the bus station back in the day. It still
They
exists.
still
It still
exist?
exists. Yeah. So they used to advertise on TV $5 cheesesteaks and fries on Thursday. So when we in 1993, we had Mike Malinowski and Derek Pickett were seniors, and your senior year, you really don't have many classes left.
Yeah.
So these guys didn't have classes, so they were on, let's go, we're going to go out to the State College VFW. We went on like an 8-game winning streak. So we decided, we kept on going with it, State College VFW for cheesesteaks.
Okay.
And so we started doing that on Thursdays of practice week and stuff as the offensive line. And then in '94 we started doing it, and then Kerry was starting to realize, oh God, we're pretty damn good. I'm not getting touched right now. So he would take us out he took us out there a couple times and paid. So, and this is where he's not getting paid.
Yeah. No.
I know Sean Clifford had done that stuff with you guys, but he was also getting paid a little bit. KC wasn't getting paid, so that was out of his own pocket. He goes, man, you guys are going to make me enough money. It's a good investment. So, so we started doing the State College VFW on Thursdays, and we did it all through '93, '4, and '5.
Well, I'm going to have to check it out. I was just alerted that it's still here. Maybe we'll have to bring back the. I'll let Nick Dawkins know. And no, it's gone now.
There's still a VFW in town.
There's one in Bellefonte. All right,
Pine Grove Mills.
Pine Grove Mills. All right, we'll check out the. I guess we're plugging them right now, but because everybody's got a spot, but now
Well, you're talking about a food spot.
a food spot. But now you
Well,
can.
we
you
also
can go
had
wherever.
we also had the old school Skeller.
The Skeller. Oh man, I've heard some pretty amazing stories about the Skeller.
They're all true.
It's basically, it seems as though it's just the bathroom.
They're all true.
The bathroom was everywhere in the Skeller.
Yeah, it was, you'd be sitting there, we always had the front booth. And the most disgusting thing was you saw people start partying. You're looking down to your right, and you see people just doing this. And you're wondering what the hell's happening. And it happened every night where the toilets would overflow. And then, whatever was coming out of the men's room would just work its way right out the front door. And we would just, it didn't matter. You didn't wear flip-flops into the,
No.
you definitely wore toed shoes into the Skeller back in the
Health
day.
codes didn't exist back in the day in State College, huh?
Well, yes, they did. It just, you just dealt with it.
You just dealt with it.
Yeah, it was. Exactly. They're right.
Yeah, I guess we're a less gritty generation, I guess you could say. That is for sure. No, but you were saying Kerry Collins, paying for you guys. It clearly paid off. I think, what you guys let up, like 3 sacks total in 1994?
He got sacked 3 times.
3 times total.
Wally got sacked twice as the backup.
So the backup offensive line let you guys down a little bit.
Well, but then somebody tried
bit.
to say in later years, they're like, oh, well, they gave up 5 sacks. I was like, no. Starting offense gave up 3 sacks the whole season, and I gave up one of them, the last one. I still get mad.
Do you have a vivid memory of
Yes,
the sack?
I do.
How'd it go down? Were you on the right side or the left side?
That play I was left. It was against Jason Horn, I believe, from Michigan. Number 94, I believe it was his name, Jason Horn. He got me off the left. He got me the up and under, but they were playing wide nines. And this guy was 290, playing a wide nine. And
Back in the day?
You're just sitting back there kicking, and when I say a wide nine, that's as far as you can get with, he is directly pointed at the quarterback. So whatever gets in his way, he's just going to blow right through. Here I am kicking, and I'm like, oh, God, here it comes. It's a 290-pound man. He's just going to lower his head and, boom, try to bull rush me. He got me a couple times with the bull rush, and then he beat me with the, the push-pull. He got me late in the game for it. That was the last time Kerry got sacked. That was week 6. So he went through 6 more games. He didn't get sacked the rest of the season.
That's all right. Yeah, it gave you a little chip on your shoulder. And then Kajana was pretty much averaging a first down every single carry.
What we figured out, 7.6 yards a carry?
Yeah, it was like 7.6. It was about almost 8 yards per carry for Kajana in 1994.
That wasn't bad.
No, not too bad at all.
Everyone talks about is I go back to what we were talking about our offense, and we had 2 fullbacks, Brian Milne and John Whitman, both NFL guys, also 2 fullbacks.
The Millman.
Brian Milne.
Yeah.
He is going through cancer again. Second time he had it when he was 17.
Right, I remember.
He had there's a GoFundMe on my Facebook page out there somewhere, but he's going through cancer again as a 52-year-old guy. He had gone through it at 17. He had had a stroke in between them. He's had some medical issues, but there's a guy 17 years old. There's a story about Joe. Brian could have gone anywhere in the country, any school he wanted to. He gets lymphoma his senior year in high school, misses his whole senior year. Guess what? All the coaches stopped calling Brian Milne.
Pulled his offers?
They were no longer there. And then Joe says, no, we offered you, we want you, and stuff like that. So he came to Penn State as, not playing his senior year in high school from a little small town outside of Erie.
That's really cool.
That's the stories of the old man that that I remember.
Right.
And that was the class and the dignity, and he recruited you, and that's another thing we could talk about is that transfer portal. I mean, I don't know how the old man would have handled it. He was definitely, there was a lot. I mean, there's not a guy I played with who wasn't like, dude, I'm out of here. This sucks.
Yeah, everybody at some point
has it, and it's too easy for kids to pull the trigger and get out now. And I think that guys 8, 10, 15 years from now are going to sit there and say, shit, I should have stayed at Penn State. Should have just sucked it up and played it out, But it's also, I didn't start till my 3rd year. And that's late in nowadays football. You're not playing your freshman and sophomore year. It's almost like you're already deemed a bust nowadays. And that's pretty brutal for some guys. And definitely maturity-wise, physically maturity for me was a thing. I had never played offense in high school. I played center in high school. I played defensive end. Yeah. So I go to Penn State, and they're like, get in the stance. And I'm like, okay, I get down to my defensive line stance. And they're like, Jesus. I had never played offensive line other than center. Here I am. They had me playing tackle. So, I needed a year or two to understand how to play the game and stuff like that. So would those nowadays have a year or two before they move on and say, hey, it's time for you to go? And that's the scary part about this transfer portal and the payment of players.
Yeah. Well, we just had a guy that left and then went to Alabama and then came back. So I think guys are realizing, I made a mistake and the grass isn't always greener.
It's true.
We got over there.
Good, quick question for you.
Yes, sir.
Question from the audience.
The transfer portal with the 12-team playoff and the timing.
They need to fix a lot of it.
I got to restate this because I don't think they can hear him. But the question was, what with the transfer portal and the college football playoffs? It's pretty messy. Now we got Bo Prabula, our backup quarterback, was essentially forced to have to leave.
That was James's rule, though, right?
Yes.
Once you went into the portal, but the portal would have been open for him later, but all the spots would have been filled.
Exactly.
So Bo was in a situation where he had to make that decision. And I'm sure he didn't. He's your friend.
He didn't want to. Oh, he didn't. He absolutely didn't want to. And I mean, he would have been a big help.
Oh my God.
In some of those games, he was always a spark for us, and he could have been a big spark against Notre Dame.
The Wisconsin game.
He won it for us.
We don't win that game without him. So
He was dealing passes too.
So a lot of that stuff in that with the transfer portal and stuff like that, there's a lot of stuff the NCAA needs to fix up, and that is, here we are playing January 20th for the national title game, and now you're going to sit there and try to have the same day of spring game. So now you're going to have winter workouts where you're putting on the most strength and body strength and mass during the off season. Now you're cutting that back by a couple weeks. Now you're going into spring practice and you're cutting into that time even more. And now the transfer portal is, I don't know how they could fix it other than moving up. I think that it might be less regular season games.
Yeah, we got to take away some.
I think you have to take away a couple regular season games and then start the playoffs right away. And then try to have them playoffs done before January 20th.
Yeah, I think it needs to go back to everything being done around January 1.
But they didn't adjust the spring schedules and stuff like that around that. So it was like
everybody's canceling their spring game. A lot of people are. I mean, Franklin had said the only reason we're doing it is because it brings so much money into the community, the hotels. Your cigar den gets a lot of love from the people.
Whoop.
There we go. Hey, a little spill. That's all right. There we go. Sky Devil Wines. Check it out in the description below. Everybody gets a little something when we got these spring games. So, that's why Franklin said we're still going to have them. But I think they're going to go by the wayside pretty soon here because you just can't make your players continue to do that.
I didn't like what Matt Rule said.
What
Rule said that he lost a couple of guys to the transfer portal.
I saw that.
Because the game was on the Big Ten Network and they were scouting their players. And I'm like, Matt's a friend of mine, and I'm going to say, Matt, come on. If they want to see that game, they're going to get a copy of it, bro. So,
Exactly.
I mean, if you don't want to have the spring game, you don't want to have the spring game. That's fine. Don't make up some bullshit excuse.
Right.
So
yeah, well,
that's how I feel. But like, the spring game was great because you redshirted, right? Or, yeah. So you didn't play football for a year and a half.
Yeah.
In a meaningful game. Were you a big 33 guy?
No, I wasn't. And I had COVID. So really, I didn't play
your
for almost 24 months. I didn't play.
That's
crazy. It was crazy. It's insane. So you're right. It's good. It's good.
So it's good for the younger guys to get out there and play in a game again. My redshirt freshman year, I played in that game, and it was awesome. It was just going back to playing football again. Not sitting there reading a card on the foreign team or the scout team or the D squad, whatever the hell you guys call it now. You're reading this, the walk-ons, the run-ons, and you're reading, and are you learning the offense that way?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, you're practicing being the other team.
Exactly.
And
so you're wearing their numbers and stuff, and then you go out there in the spring game, and
you get to be in front of Beaver.
Blows. I mean, don't get me wrong, it blows. There's nothing worse. But when you're a freshman and sophomore, spring game's awesome.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Well, the best part about the spring game is when it ends.
Absolutely.
And then it's
there's some old school stories.
Oh, boy.
Like, but this is before me. When my brothers played, when my older brother played, guys would walk to the stadium in their uniforms and then leave the stadium in their uniforms going back to East Area locker rooms, get changed, and then come back at the tailgate. So there are pictures of my brother and his friends in their pads, holding their shoulder pads and helmets and like this, drinking beers in the parking lot, tailgating.
Different time.
Absolutely.
Different
I mean,
time.
try that now. I mean,
oh, no.
You guys get mobbed up?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I remember we had cigars after one of the spring games, and we were even afraid to get caught up with that one. Well, Goon, I want to wrap up here. The last question I want to have, I always kind of talk about Penn State a little bit itself. You obviously, finished up your career here, went and played a little bit, a couple different places, and then you came back to Penn State, obviously to get your master's, but and you were an assistant on the strength staff. What would you say brought you back to Penn State? Was there something in your life and you said I missed that place? What brought you back to State College?
Yeah, I was. Easiest way to say this is I was living in Richmond, Virginia for 4 years. I was coaching Division III football, Catholic University in D.C., then Hampton-Sydney College in Virginia, and then I loved it. I absolutely loved it, and then had some opportunities to take a spot here at Virginia Tech. I had a spot at Kutztown, stuff like that. And then I was just like, and I'm talking to these coaches, and these guys are talking about, like, it's their life. And they live and die, and they breathe by it 24/7. And I just couldn't do that. It's not, me. I got my hand in a lot of different shit around here and stuff like that. I do a lot of different stuff. But 2004 or 5, went through a divorce, living down in Richmond, Virginia, living down there. I'm down there, and I'm like, I'm working for Mass Mutual, selling life insurance, doing financial planning. I'm like, what the hell is Keith Conlin's name going to get me in Richmond, Virginia? You know, I'm not UVA, I'm not Virginia Tech, you know, I'm not University of Richmond, I'm a Penn State guy, which there are certain people down there who loved it. I went down there as part of the Alumni Association, and I just missed it. So a friend of mine was the HR person for Mass Mutual, and she was in charge of, like, you know, just seeing, like, doing those, like, your you know, the not the hell of word I'm looking for, like, you know, what kind of person are you? I'm like, I'm extroverted as hell, you know, and she's like, yeah, I don't need to tell you this, but you're tested off the charts as an extroverted guy. And I'm like, I know. And she's like, well, where was the last place you were happy in life? And in the meantime, I had a chocolate lab who passed away, so I literally was living alone. I had this big 2,000 square foot house in Richmond, Virginia, living down there alone, traveling home on weekends, you know, see some friends and this and that, you know, meet them halfway in D.C., and I just wasn't happy in life, and I was like, I think I was early 30 to 31 or 2, and this girl I was working with, she said, where was the last place you were happy? And I said, easily I could say State College, Pennsylvania. And she says, well, what's keeping you here? So in a nutshell, I came back here, I was going to open up a cheesesteak shop. Swear to God, I was buying the Penn State sub shops up on Beaver Avenue. Me and Brandon Noble. Brandon was going to be the financier. He was playing for the Redskins. He had just signed his first good contract because he had been struggling and playing for minimums for years, and he finally got a good contract. And I moved to State College June 1st. June 1st of this year will be 20 years I've been here. So I move here. I'm in discussions to buy the Penn State sub shops, and I'm watching a preseason game, and I watch Brandon Noble's knee go spin around like 38 times and his legs snap about 15 times. And I'm watching television, and I said, oh, shit. I don't think I'm going to open the Penn State sub shop.
My sub shop.
There goes our cheesesteak joint. So in the meantime, I was over there hanging out with JT and Jeremy in the weight room. And JT was like, hey, man, I got an opening in the weight room. You got to start Monday. And I said, listen, I'm not going back to school. I don't want to go back. I'm out into the school thing. So then he was like, all right, whatever. So I worked as a salaried employee for the summer. And then in the fall, I was like, you know what? I want to be a restaurant bar owner. So I started taking some restaurant classes and stuff like that with Pete Morty. I did a couple classes with him and over in the restaurant management, hospitality stuff. And then I was like, all right, so I really enjoyed the coaching aspect. I really did. I think that I had A.Q. Shipley, I had Richie Ornberger, I had Drew Richardson, Andrew Richardson, Wisniewski was there later. We had Levi Brown, Tyler Reed, a lot of guys on an offensive line, and it was just going around, and it was just like on the sideline. It was like you could talk about all the X's and O's you want, but we were just talking about being football players, and like I remember one time I sat there and I was just helping these guys out, I was. You know, I was charting the plays and helping these guys out a whole bunch. So those guys really appreciated it in the end, and I really appreciated it in the end. I ended up staying 3 years and got my master's in health education out of Harrisburg campus. I had all the hospitality and all those classes as my general ed stuff. So and then I got done with that, and I got asked to start doing some post-game radio shows. And I was like, listen, I'm not the 24/7 guy. That's not me. I can't do it. I need my hand, and I like going out with, you know, my buddies on the weekends, having a good time, watching games, tailgating, and this and that. I couldn't do that when I was coaching, but I could do that when I was, you know, having radio shows, and that's how I got on the radio up here.
Yep.
So I started doing post-game radio shows and with Justin Kerpakis and myself, and then Tim Sweeney when Justin had a couple kids. Tim Sweeney started doing it, and me and Tim broke off and did our own little the Goon and Sweeney show. And now I do the Goon and Ironhead show. So, I mean, I've been doing this for how many years now?
Like 15, something like that?
I mean, 2008, 2009 as I started all the radio shows. So, I mean, you know, with the whole Joe Powell and the Sandusky thing that went on down here, there was a lot to talk about. You know, Bill O'Brien coming into Penn State and, you know, hiring strength coach who's my best friend from ever, Craig Fitzgerald. And then his defensive coordinator was John Butler, a guy I had grown up with. I went to kindergarten through high school with him. So I was involved with that program that way a little bit with the TV, with the radio and stuff like that. So really, really enjoyed it. And then, I still do the Goon and Ironhead show, and that's how I met you, obviously.
Yep.
And you're doing a hell of a job. You're doing a lot of stuff I've always wanted to do, and this has been fantastic.
Yeah, here we are. We're doing a lot of stuff together. I'm sure more to come, especially next season. I think we're doing a couple more things together. So should be a lot of fun. But Goon, I appreciate you coming in. I'm betting this probably won't be the only appearance for you at.
What time next week?
Yeah, exactly. I think Goon's going to make another appearance on Cigars with Letterman and Legends, I'm sure. But
Start watching some basketball games here. Talking.
there we go. We're going to have some events here. Be on the lookout. But Goon, appreciate you coming in, sitting down.
Sorry I spilled your wine, brother.
Look at it. It's high quality wine. Once again, shout out
It's
to.
actually very good.
Oh, it's amazing. Shout out to Sky Devil Wines. Link is in the description. And, of course, shout out to Your Cigar Den. Link is also in the description below. Check both of them out. Great sponsors of the show.
Get a VIP locker over here, dude.
VIP locker room. You can be in here all hours of the night smoking cigars with me and Goon.
$1,000 a year.
It's easy.
You got a backdoor fob, a locker, come in and smoke anytime, put a TV on.
Sounds like a hell of a deal.
Watch
to
that
me.
Rutgers UCLA midnight game.
Get a little Friday night, midnight Big Ten action. That's what we got now. Well, appreciate you guys tuning in. Thank you so much. We will be back next month with another one of these. Appreciate you guys.
Go Birds.
Peace.